So, hello, a little reflection today on a subject that might be a little bit of a thin argument for cross-dressing or part of the jigsaw to try and explain, but I think it's worth mentioning in my musings. And this is whether or not I and others who cross-dress might have had, perhaps at a fairly early age, some false idea about how dressing, presenting, wearing makeup and so on, changing your hairstyle, being colourfully dressed and so on, might overcome any notion that we might have had about poor self-image. I think I could go with this if I'd suddenly felt the drive to start cross-dressing in my late teens, when I became, I think, much more self-conscious. Well, it might have been in my mid-teens, perhaps, more self-conscious about my image, and was beginning to get, I think, a bit of feedback from others that contradicted, perhaps, rather grand ideas I had, which certainly up until around that stage were that I was not at all really concerned about my self-image. I thought, if anything, I was moderately attractive. I was quite happy with the way I was presenting. I think probably naively, but that's what I believed, certainly until my mid-teens and beyond. So yes, a generally positive image before then. But of course, as I've said before, and is the case, I think, with virtually all cross-dressers, this urge, this desire, this need to express the feminine starts at a much, much younger age, way beyond, before reaching teens and that time of development, before the age of sexual maturity. It happened for me probably around 5, 6, that sort of age was when I was becoming aware of it. So long before I had any concept of how I appeared to others. I don't know, anyway, even when I was in my late teens, if I thought this was a strategy or possibly an aid to overcome what I might have then started to begin to perceive as a poor self-image. I don't know that being female would have really made the difference. I don't think that clothes and makeup and different adorning, yes, he might have sort of patched up a few little skin blotches and that sort of thing, but I don't think it would have really radically changed anything. And I do wonder, in my own mind's eye, as it were, whether I would have seen myself as being more attractive as a female at that time. I'm not so sure that I would have done. I might have had, possibly when I was younger, and again, I don't think this would have been as early as when I first started having a drive towards needing to express the feminine and wanting to present in girlish way. I think that I might probably at an earlier age have had a false idea that perhaps having gentler features might have made me less confrontational, or appeared less confrontational to others, and as someone that's always been conflict averse, that could have had stronger appeal. An idea in my mind's eye that if I was inhabiting a friendly looking body, as it were, friendly looking face, friendly looking frame, I'd be less likely to be the target for someone that wanted to pick a fight. But actually, at the same time, I've always felt quite assertive, ready to stand my ground, being very active, not being demure and retiring and not ready to engage in an argument. So I'm not terribly sure that argument would hold as well. And now, of course, that society is much more accepting of how men dress, how they present themselves, ponytails, earrings, goodness knows what else you want to wear. That's the way it's been for quite some time now, the society in which I live. I often don't take advantage of that. I quite often do as well. I have quite a few snazzy shirts, and I'm not afraid to wear pink, for example, from time to time. But I'm quite comfortable just being in a fairly bland, boring, as I am at the moment, male fashion, as it were, with a fairly uninteresting hairstyle, fairly uninteresting clothes. Again, us gender benders can be comfortable with our looks across any gender divide.